Between 2023 and 2024, a wave of heartfelt proposals swept through Hollywood and beyond, as LGBTQ+ stars stood proudly in the spotlight to say yes. Their stories are not just about romance, but about courage, about choosing love in a world that once told them to hide. From beachside kisses to surprise rooftop proposals, each engagement carries the spark of something bigger: hope, pride, and the promise of forever. Ready to meet the couples redefining what love looks like? Let's dive in. Bradley Riches and Scott Johnston, a proposal beneath the Amalfi sun. It was a setting out of a dream, sunlight shimmering off the azure waves of the Amalfi coast, a rooftop adorned with heart-shaped petals, and the warm Italian breeze carrying whispers of a love story reaching its next chapter. In April 2024, Scott Johnston, a gifted theater director known for his visionary works, surprised his partner, actor Bradley Riches, with a moment as breathtaking as the scenery itself. After years of quiet devotion, Scott chose this stunning backdrop to ask Bradley a question that would forever bind their lives. The answer, of course, was yes. For Bradley, whose performances have touched countless hearts, this moment was more intimate, more personal than any role he had played. Their journey, which began back in 2021, had been a steady, joyful build, layer by layer, day by day, proving that love, at its core, is about finding someone who sees you as you are and chooses you, time and again. And for Scott, the man who had spent his career bringing stories to life on stage, this was the most important story of all. Here, surrounded by the timeless beauty of Italy, the two of them were not actors or directors, but simply two souls stepping into the future together. Their engagement, shared quietly at first before Bradley posted a heartfelt message on social media, sparked an outpouring of support and love from their friends and fans. It was a reminder that, in a world so often divided, love stories, real, sincere, and unapologetic, still have the power to inspire. Theirs is not just a tale of romance. It's a testament to the beauty of being fully seen and deeply cherished. For Bradley and Scott, this moment was more than a proposal. It was a celebration of the unwavering bond they had built, a promise to continue crafting a life as radiant and timeless as the Amalfi sun. Gus Kenworthy and Tyler Green, a love that began where the waves meet the sky. At the start of 2024, Gus Kenworthy, Olympic medalist, fearless athlete, and beacon of LGBTQ+ visibility, found himself in a moment of pause. He had just arrived in Rio de Janeiro to welcome the new year. Among the glittering sands and vibrant rhythms of Brazil's most iconic city, a chance meeting turned into something extraordinary. Tyler Green, a reserved yet resolute wellness coach, entered Gus's world not through fanfare or scripted introductions, but through a quiet, genuine conversation overlooking the waves at sunset. As Rio danced in celebration, Gus and Tyler found a connection as simple as a shared smile and as profound as the understanding that no words were needed. Their days in Rio were woven with quiet joys, long walks along the beach at dusk, small cafes where the noise of the city faded into laughter, and moments spent watching the city lights reflecting off the water. Tyler's grounded calmness was the perfect counterbalance to Gus's high-energy, adrenaline-driven world. Where Gus saw challenges and excitement, Tyler saw stability and growth. Together, they created a rhythm that felt unhurried, unforced. By the time their holiday drew to a close, what began as a serendipitous encounter had blossomed into something neither of them was willing to let go of. When they returned home, Gus and Tyler continued to build their life together, not defined by the spotlight or the fleeting trends of fame, but by a steady, deliberate kind of love. Tyler supported Gus's athletic career, while Gus found in Tyler a sanctuary from the demands of public life. It wasn't long before their relationship deepened further, leading to a quiet, heartfelt proposal in a place that held meaning only for the two of them. A small, secluded hilltop that overlooked the vast ocean. Just as their love had begun, with the waves meeting the sky, their commitment was made where the horizons stretched endlessly, as if reflecting the future they would now face side by side. Jake Foy and Nicolas Latraverse, a love found in life's quiet corners. In the often chaotic world of show business, genuine connections can feel rare. But for Jake Foy and Nicolas Latraverse, love found its way with effortless charm. Jake, the Canadian actor known for his heartfelt performance as Tough McMurray on Hallmark's Ride, first met Nicolas, a talent and social media manager, at a birthday gathering in 2018. What started as a brief exchange of pleasantries turned into a friendship marked by shared humor, mutual support, and a subtle understanding of each other's worlds. Over time, that friendship blossomed into something deeper, a partnership that celebrated their differences while drawing strength from their shared values and dreams. After 5 years of building a life together, Jake knew the time was right to take the next step. On May 8, 2023, he proposed to Nicolas in the breathtaking setting of Banff National Park, Canada. The moment was both intimate and awe-inspiring. Beneath the towering peaks and beside crystal-clear waters, Jake knelt and asked Nicolas to marry him. The answer, of course, was a resounding yes. Their engagement photos, shared lovingly on social media, captured not just the scenery, but the authenticity and joy of two people embarking on the next chapter of their love story. Friends and fans alike were quick to celebrate the couple's happiness, with Jake's Ride co-star Nancy Travis commenting, "These photos are beyond special. You're both the most beautiful souls on that mountain." Now, as they look toward the future, Jake and Nicolas continue to embrace each day with the same quiet confidence that brought them together. Their relationship is more than a headline. It's a testament to the beauty of steadfast love and mutual respect. They remind us that true partnerships aren't about the grand gestures, but the shared moments that weave into something enduring. For Jake and Nicolas, the mountain proposal was not the peak, but rather the start of a new ascent. A journey they'll navigate together, one step at a time. Scott Hoying and Mark Manio. In a world where headlines often blur the line between spectacle and sincerity, the love story of Scott Hoying and Mark Manio stands out like a clear, resonant note in a noisy room. Scott, the magnetic voice from the Grammy-winning group Pentatonix, had spent years serenading the world with harmonies, but it was Mark who brought harmony to his heart. Their love blossomed not in the spotlight, but in the steady rhythm of life together. Shared mornings, inside jokes, quiet encouragements. There was no rush, no performance. Just two souls discovering that the most beautiful music is often made in the spaces between the notes. After years of nurturing their bond away from the noise, Scott and Mark decided to write the next verse of their story, with a wedding that felt less like a show and more like a sacred promise. On a warm day in 2023, they exchanged vows in a lush oceanside ceremony that reflected everything they are. Romantic, creative, and unapologetically joyful. Surrounded by friends, music, and golden light, they did not just say, "I do." They created a moment that sang of freedom, pride, and deep, enduring love. It was more than a celebration. It was a testament to living out loud, loving out loud, and standing proudly in your truth. What makes their love resonate so deeply is its authenticity. Scott and Mark are not just partners in life. They are each other's safe place. Their story is not defined by fame or fanfare, but by the quiet moments that no one sees. A comforting touch before a big performance, a knowing smile across a crowded room, a whispered word of support when it is needed most. In a world still learning how to fully embrace queer love, Scott and Mark remind us that true romance is not about being seen, it is about being known. And in each other, they have found a love that does both. Chrishell, Stause, and G-Flip, a love story that rewrote the rules. Their story began on Halloween night in 2021, when fate brought Chrishell Stause, the star of Selling Sunset, and Australian musician G-Flip together at a party in Los Angeles. At the time, both were navigating the final chapters of other relationships, but something in that first conversation lingered, an undeniable spark, a sense of familiarity, even in the chaos of costumes and celebration. Over time, what started as a chance encounter grew into a friendship rooted in creativity, laughter, and shared values. As their lives continued to intertwine, the connection blossomed into something deeper, something neither of them had expected, but both were brave enough to pursue. By early 2022, Chrishell and G-Flip began showing up together more often, quietly building a relationship outside the spotlight. In May of that year, Chrishell confirmed their romance during the Selling Sunset reunion, introducing G-Flip to the world not just as a partner, but as someone who had completely shifted her perspective on love. G-Flip, who identifies as non-binary and uses they-them pronouns, had opened a door to a kind of relationship that felt both freeing and fiercely grounded. Chrishell shared, "I know people think I'm in a phase or something, but this is love. Real love." Their dynamic, joyful presence as a couple quickly gained admiration, not just for their openness, but for the authenticity they brought to every step of their journey. 1 year later, in May 2023, the couple stunned fans by announcing they had quietly tied the knot in a private Las Vegas ceremony. It was intimate, untraditional, and entirely theirs. Chrishell shared a video montage on Instagram with the caption, "Love doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes it's immeasurably better." Then in July 2024, to mark both their 1-year anniversary and Chrishell's 43rd birthday, they renewed their vows in Australia with close friends and family. What began as an unexpected connection had evolved into a lifelong commitment, a love story that defied categories, ignored outside noise, and reminded the world that when you follow your heart, the path might be unconventional, but it will always lead you home. Nikki Blonsky and Hailey Jenson, a modern love rooted in authenticity. In a world where connections are often fleeting and surface level, Nikki Blonsky's love story with Hailey Jenson feels refreshingly real. It all began in 2022 through an unexpected encounter on TikTok. Nikki, beloved for her iconic role as Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray, went live during a casual stream, never imagining that one of the viewers, Hailey, would soon become her life partner. Hailey, a longtime admirer, reached out with a direct message and a video request. That playful interaction quickly turned into something deeper. When they finally met in person, Nikki recalls an instant sense of clarity. "I just knew," she later shared. She was the one. Their relationship bloomed quickly, fueled by shared values, laughter, and a strong emotional connection. By September 2022, Nikki and Hailey had announced their engagement. The proposal? Pure magic, and a bit of serendipity. As they watched TV together one evening, both reached for hidden rings and surprised each other at the exact same time. It was a moment straight out of a romantic comedy, but entirely unscripted, raw, and unforgettable. Nikki posted on Instagram, celebrating their dual proposal and calling Hailey not just her girlfriend, but her fiancée, with overflowing joy and gratitude. The moment became a beacon of visibility and hope for fans around the world. On October 21st, 2023, Nikki and Hailey tied the knot in an intimate ceremony surrounded by love and intention. It was not about grandeur. It was about truth, commitment, and claiming joy in a world that often makes LGBTQ+ couples fight to be seen. "I wanted to be able to call Hailey my wife," Nikki said, reflecting on their decision to wed before Pride Month. "And I wanted to remind others that being true to yourself is the most powerful thing you can do." Their love story, rooted in openness and serendipity, is a testament to how powerful it is to love boldly and to let life surprise you with something beautiful. Zooey Zephyr by Erin Reed. Some love stories do not just break barriers, they become a beacon. The romance between Zooey Zephyr, the courageous Montana lawmaker, and Erin Reed, the tireless transgender rights advocate, is one such story. Born from shared battles and unwavering belief in authenticity, their connection blossomed not in the quiet of ease, but in the storm of struggle. While the world watched them fight for dignity and equality, behind the scenes, their hearts were stitching together something profoundly personal. Each protest, each speech, each tender glance, they were falling in love not just with each other's courage, but with each other's soul. When Zooey dropped to one knee in the soft evening glow, surrounded by nature and a silence thick with anticipation, time seemed to pause. Erin's eyes welled with tears, not because it was unexpected, but because it felt like destiny finally catching up. The ring was simple, but the promise was grand. A life of shared passion, shared purpose, and unconditional love. Their engagement was not a show for the world, but a quiet vow between two people who had already weathered the worst and chose again and again to walk hand in hand toward the light. Their love is not just romantic, it is revolutionary. In each other, Zooey and Erin have found sanctuary and strength. They remind us all that love, when rooted in truth, does not ask permission. It simply grows, fearless and free. And in a world still learning how to see them clearly, they continue to write their own story, one filled with devotion, joy, and the kind of love that makes history. Colton Underwood and Jordan C. Brown. Some love stories begin with roses, others with revelations. For Colton Underwood, the former Bachelor star who once searched for love under the glare of reality television lights, true love arrived not on cue, but when he finally stepped into his truth. Jordan C. Brown, a brilliant political strategist with a calm strength, met Colton at the crossroads of vulnerability and courage. What started as quiet companionship soon transformed into a partnership built on honesty, healing, and hope. Together, they redefined what love looks like in a world that had once written their script for them. Their wedding, held in May 2023 at the stunning Carneros Resort and Spa in Napa Valley, was more than a ceremony. It was a declaration. Dressed in custom Tom Ford suits, with Colton in deep green and Jordan in navy blue, they stood before friends and family not just as grooms, but as survivors of the storm who had found sanctuary in each other. The weekend-long celebration overflowed with joy, from welcome dinners under twinkling lights to a surprise, synchronized swimming performance that left guests cheering with delight. Every moment was intentional, a reflection of their journey from secrecy to celebration. Colton and Jordan's love story reminds us that the most powerful unions are not born from perfection, but from perseverance. In choosing each other, they chose freedom, truth, and a future shaped by love that dares to be seen. And as they walked hand in hand into married life, they became more than husbands. They became a symbol of how honesty can lead to healing, and how love, when finally embraced, becomes unstoppable. Preston Mitchum and Donald Cooley. When Preston Mitchum announced his engagement to Donald Cooley in April 2024, the moment rang louder than just celebration. It echoed with pride, resilience, and a deep sense of arrival. Preston, a respected legal advocate and a beloved voice on reality television, had always carried himself with brilliance and integrity. But when he spoke about Donald, there was a softness in his tone, a quiet awe reserved only for the person who truly knew his heart. Donald, graceful and grounded, had become the calm to Preston's fire, a partner who offered strength without trying to tame it. Their love was never performative. It was a steady hum beneath the noise of the world. Their engagement was beautifully intimate. No red carpets, no viral headlines, just a promise whispered between two hearts that had found refuge in one another. It was a declaration that after all the battles Preston had fought, for justice, for equality, for visibility, he had also fought for the right to love fully. And in Donald's eyes, he saw not only a future husband, but a reflection of everything he had been working toward: freedom, joy, and an unapologetic celebration of self. Friends who had walked the path with them were there to lift a glass, not just in support, but in gratitude, for love like theirs gives hope to those still searching. What makes Preston and Donald's love unforgettable is how seamlessly it blends fire and peace. They are bold and soft, public and private, loud in their convictions, yet tender in their affection. Their story reminds us that Black queer love is not just powerful, it is poetic. And their engagement stands as a beacon for those who wonder if they too will be chosen for all that they are. With every glance and gentle touch, Preston and Donald rewrite the script, reminding the world that queer joy is not just possible, but deeply, beautifully real. Sophia Bush and Ashlyn Harris. Sometimes love arrives not in a grand entrance, but in a quiet, unexpected moment, after the storms have passed and the soul is finally ready to feel again. That was the case for Sophia Bush and Ashlyn Harris, two women who had built powerful lives on their own, each known for their strength, grace, and unshakable voice. Sophia, the actress and activist with a heart full of fire, and Ashlyn, the fearless soccer champion and LGBTQ+ icon, had both known public lives, public breakups, and public pain. But what they found in each other was something deeply private, an oasis of calm in the middle of chaos. Their connection was not rushed. It was thoughtful, tender, and rooted in mutual respect. Their relationship blossomed slowly, like a sunrise that refuses to be rushed. At first, whispers circled in the tabloids, but neither of them owed the world an explanation. They were building something real away from the noise. And when they finally stepped into the light together, The world saw not scandal, but softness. Here were two women who had already lived full lives, now discovering that maybe the best chapter was still ahead. Their love was not born of urgency. It was a conscious choice, a meeting of minds and hearts that had learned to listen deeply, love fiercely, and protect what truly matters. Together, Sophia and Ashlyn are rewriting the narrative of what queer love can look like, especially for women who have spent their lives in the spotlight. There is beauty in their balance. Sophia's warmth and intellect meet Ashlyn's courage and loyalty, like two rivers merging into one powerful current. They are not just building a relationship, they are building a sanctuary. And in a world that often treats queer love as spectacle, theirs is a quiet revolution. No announcements, no performances, just two souls choosing each other every single day. Love comes in many forms, but when it is true, it shines, no matter who you are or who you love. From quiet glances to bold commitments, these stories remind us that real connection has no limits. If even one moment made you smile, shed a tear, or believe in love a little more, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more beautiful stories like this, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. Until next time, stay proud, stay kind, and never stop believing in love.